What's going on, beautiful people? Whoa, learn how to talk, Cam. What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Cam, sitting here with my lovely wife, Vicky Logan, and we are your host for the Everything Is We podcast. And today has been an eventful day, man. It was a super dope day, super exciting day. We got a chance to sit down with some super awesome people,
Yeah.
and you guys will see that next week.
hmm Next week on
Um,
their page. We did a podcast episode on the Love Hour. Shout out to Melissa and Kev on stage.
NAACP Image Award
Right.
nominated.
The Kev on stage. But yes, we did a Love Hour feature. And so that will be coming soon. We'll be sure to let y'all know when it goes live. But yeah, we had a great time with them. We actually met them in Cali when we were on our anniversary trip, so that was fun. But yeah, that's our peoples. So we just wanted to let y'all know that was cool. So now we're
Super cool.
recording our podcast.
Same day.
Same day, and because we were preparing for that one, we really don't have our own topic to talk about.
Melissa sent us over some very nice table topics,
hmm
and we're gonna steal one of them.
We have to give her credit though.
We're
We
stealing
didn't
it.
come up with this. This was Melissa.
This is her thing, but she was gonna talk about it with us.
Yes, and we may. She said we may do a part 2 one day, so we
Yeah.
might talk about it again. 'Cause I was already prepared to talk about this, and we didn't because Cam and Kev was hooping
Boom.
and singing Travis Green.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That was fun.
had a whole praise break.
So yeah, it's so today's topic, at whatever time you're listening or watching this, we're going to talk about, drum roll please. Say it.
What? No, you hyped it up. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
This
Go
is
ahead.
what you wanted to do.
Go ahead. You say it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Today we're going to talk about toxic faith, how our faith is intertwined into marriage and relationships, um, and how people can use faith as an excuse to um, stay in a toxic situation, and therefore it makes the faith toxic.
Stay in a toxic situation or be a toxic
Or
person.
be a toxic person, or use the Bible for their own benefit, which is toxic and manipulative. And we've seen some examples of this recently in, you know, the Christian space, but also, just in general, we've seen this happening. If you watch Married at First Sight, you'll know what we're talking about. But also, recently people were talking about the Derek Jackson situation. I don't know these people. I'm gonna just put this out there. I don't know who these people are. Okay, I don't know who Derek Jackson is. I don't know him. I don't know nothing about him.
Never knew who he was.
Never knew who he
until-
was, but everybody's been talking about it, and they wanted to know my thoughts on it. And I'm like, first of all, I don't have thoughts because I don't think about these people because I don't know them. Because I don't know them, I don't know their story. I don't really know them like that, so I'm not going to talk about them. But we can talk about toxic faith because we have seen. Um, I mean, we know people personally who have used faith, um, in a bad way, or used, like, God said this to me, I need to stick in this situation because God said that I'm supposed to be with this person. And or people would be like, God told me I was gonna marry this person, and then they end up not getting married.
Being a PK, both of
You
us
hear that
are
a
alive. You
lot.
see stuff like that. You hear even like preachers have, told me, yeah, you gonna marry my daughter and blah blah blah. It's like, bro, like
But even
that's
still, like, just
why
in
why are you even
general,
saying that?
no,
It's
yeah,
toxic.
that is. But just in general, people like try to project God and faith onto things that God didn't say to do. Like, for example, the Married at First Sight situation. Paige is like, I believe God put us together for a reason. No, says she went on a show and they matched you with someone. That doesn't mean that God wanted you to be with him. And of course, God can work out anything and all things work together. But also, you couldn't say that you put yourself in this situation. Like, you don't have to say, well, it's happening to me for a reason. God's not gonna let you get beat up over and over again just to prove a point. That's, to me, that's toxic.
I totally agree.
Like
I totally
like a
agree.
dude dragging your name through the mud on national television is not how that I don't believe that God wanted that for you, sis. I
Mm,
don't think he wanted that for you.
mm.
And I think that's where it can be um it can become toxic where you continue to try to make excuses for people's mistreatment of you because you feel like God assigned you to that person, or like you have to stay in a situation that is hurting you because you think God told you to do that when he didn't, or he might not have said that way.
Yeah.
You misinterpreted it to did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
That's when it becomes, and it can also be toxic when people like Chris in this situation, when people use the Bible or use faith as a way to manipulate people.
we're trying to justify your actions at being trash by saying, "Oh, the reason why is because we haven't been praying together."
Right.
Like,
Or yeah.
no,
No.
you've been a trash person
How about you just make bad
the
decisions?
entire show, and
Mm-mm.
now you're trying to put this on. Oh, that's because we haven't been praying together, bro.
And I love what um Manny was saying this at one point. I forget what he was talking about, but he was saying that marriages don't fail because people don't pray enough. They fail because people don't make smart decisions.
If I
Like prayer,
continually cheat on you and we pray every night, that's not gonna do anything.
it's
I
not
have
if
to
you're
I have to make a decision to stop cheating.
yes. There are decisions
I
you
have to make a decision to stop being trash.
yeah. And
And
if
I think people don't take like self-assessments to realize like, okay, what am I doing? People complain about other individuals being toxic or trash or whatever, but then they themselves treat other people trash. Don't you know that the very thing that you're feeling hurt and pain about is the same thing that you're causing to other people? So we have to do a better job of like looking at ourselves in the mirror. Number one, because I say this all the time. It's like this is connected. People don't have a problem hearing faith-filled messages, hearing the word of God, hearing tips and tricks, knowing, you know what I'm saying? Like people don't have we don't lack information.
no, we never
We
did.
lack the ability to apply the information or obey the word or obey the stuff that
Or
our
to
doctor told us to do.
interpret it right,
And it's like
understanding, wisdom, those things.
if you can know all the scriptures in the world, but if you don't apply them to your lives, you're still gonna be trash.
Hmm. That's what Elon Musk said, that he was like, people mistake education for like, oh, I forgot,
Success.
success, or like, no, not even success. He said education. People mistake education for like, I forget what he said, but he was like, you could have a bachelor's degree and still be an idiot.
Absolutely.
Like information doesn't make you, knowing things doesn't mean that you're actually going to be a good person. You just know things. If you don't apply it, then you could still not be successful.
Just like we know plenty of people that may be smart, but they may not be wise. I know we talked about love languages and all that stuff, but man, take a self assessment. Like look yourself in the mirror and say, "Am I trash?"
Am I
'Cause
trash?
I don't want to be trash.
I don't know.
Every day I wake up and I make an effort to not be trash at whatever I do. I
That's awesome.
I think about stuff like that. Like I don't want to be
As
I don't want to be a trash friend. I don't want to be a trash husband. I don't want to be a trash son. I don't want to be a trash leader. I don't want to be trash
I
in my
think
hobbies. I just don't want to be trash. And there are some areas that I am trash in, but I'm working on myself to be better because
at the
if I'm not good to me, meaning using the wisdom and the knowledge that I know, because we can watch 1,000,005 videos on how to lose weight or how to eat better or how to, I mean, the information is out there, but how do we apply that? And that's what people don't do when it comes to their faith being
Mhm.
toxic, or, I mean, you fill in the blank. I don't like seeing people taken advantage of, period, but specifically in Christendom. And I believe that so many things have been taught, not vocally taught, but like their actions from their parents, their grandparents, their aunties, their uncles. They
Observations.
saw, they saw,
It's learned behavior.
yeah, they saw you do one thing, but they saw you preach something else. So what are we going to do? We're going to do what we see as opposed to what we hear. And a lot of the older generation be like, no, don't do as I say, not as I do.
You can't do that.
Well, if you've grown up in this for 18 plus years of your life, it's going to be hard not to do what you continued to see as a child. And so now we have young men that grow up that saw their grandfathers and fathers treat women like trash and manipulate and connive and slither and
Slither.
talk their way in and out of stuff. And it's just terrible. And then we see this display of this gentleman or this guy, Chris, on the show. And he knows that he's treating Paige like trash. But she has also experienced some kind of trauma or some kind of terrible relationships where that kind of thing was okay.
She
And
accepted that.
she's
Yeah.
accepted it. And all it takes for him to do is do one little thing.
It's like the bare minimum
Literally
is enough.
the bare minimum.
The bare minimum is enough to
one little thing.
That's
all he
not
got to
okay.
do is
It's like the bare
whisper
minimum
in her ear.
It's like we're children. Like that is not enough to.
And now she's
well, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
well, maybe God
that's
wants
the sign
us
I
to
was
keep
looking
working on it.
for.
And I know this is a show, so we're talking about a show. So obviously they have to continue doing certain things.
But there are
because
people that do
you have
this
to be
in
on the show.
real life.
But people do this in real life.
I
yes.
know people that do this in real life.
They go back because they did one thing right and they feel like that's a step forward. I feel like you have to stop basing their relationships on potential. Like,
ooh, that's good. We talked about that a while ago.
did we?
Like just you and I, just like car conversation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
People have
we've
to
had
stop
similar-
basing.
Yep.
People have to stop basing their expectations on potential. Like, just
And I
because
think women do this.
women do this. You know, and I think it comes from trauma, obviously. You know, growing up and seeing unhealthy relationships, and it's like, well, I mean, this is what I know, so I'm going to continue to accept certain things because I've seen other women accept certain things, and I don't know that there's anything better than that. There is better, I promise. But, you know, people just kind of settle for what they can get. So then they're like, well, I got to make this work because I can see. And that goes back to what you were saying in the car about fixing people. And they feel like, well, I know what your potential looks like. So I'm going to try to fix you
Mhm.
into what I would ideally like to see from you.
Yep.
And that's where you get into the problem, especially I feel like in the Christian community where women end up being the strong spiritual one and the man is not.
He
So then
weak.
he weak. And so then she the one praying and fasting, trying to get him to change. And he's not because number one, he has to make a decision. And
All the Tyler Perry movies.
pretty much, yes. And it's like we see this repeated over and over again. And it's like, well, this is the norm. That's not normal. That should not be happening. You know, you shouldn't have to help a man grow up or help a man or try to fix him into what you want him to be. He had a woman to raise him before. That was his mama. That
My
ain't
my
you.
exact statement to you in the car was what?
I don't know.
You can't raise your
No,
husband.
you can't. You can't
You
raise your
can't
husband.
raise your spouse. You can't raise your fiance. You can't raise your
No.
boyfriend.
And
You
me and
cannot. A woman cannot raise someone that is not their
a
son.
grown man, a grown man, you can't raise him. Even though you have, and the thing is, I feel like women do this because we have a nurturing, like we are
It's in
nurturers.
your makeup.
It's it's in our makeup. It's what we were designed to do. We were designed to nurture, but not to nurture a grown man.
Mm.
That was not the plan for that nurturingness. Now, obviously in a relationship, I am going to be nurturing in some ways. Like obviously, if I know he hungry, like I'm not going to let him just be hungry. Like I'm
That's
going to go
totally
that,
different
but
than
that's
raising me.
different than, yes, trying to make you grow up. That's not, no. Like taking care of him is not me babying him and coddling him and he on my titty. Like that's not what we're doing here. Like as a wife, I'm here to help him,
Mhm.
not to lead him and guide him and teach him and okay, this is what you do. This is how you should act. This is how you should, like, I believe you should at some point, you know, explain to your spouse how you like to be. Obviously, we've talked about love languages, things like that. So we learn each other, but I should never have to explain to him how to treat me right. You know what I'm saying? Like I shouldn't have to explain to him, well, this is what you do this and like, I mean, you should treat me better than this. You know what I mean? Like there's a line there. Like there's certain things you learn and there's certain things you should just innately do because you are a good person.
There's a standard.
Yeah.
A standard is literally like
Like you're not gonna hit me.
the foundation.
Like that's a standard.
The standard is literally the foundation. If there is no foundation, you don't have a relationship.
Facts.
The standard is just okay, we solid because the standard is here. The standard is met. We solid. We have our house is built on a firm foundation. We solid. Then there's raising the bar, going above and beyond the standard.
Mhm.
Man, when my husband does this, he goes above and beyond. He makes sure he thinks
He
about
makes
me.
me feel
You know what I'm
loved. He
saying?
makes me
All,
feel
all of this. My wife,
appreciated.
she does this. She does this. She does this. Do 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 do. She's meeting my love languages,
Or at
and
least
vice versa,
trying. Or at least trying
and vice
to.
versa. Yeah, showing effort.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Showing the support, giving me the words of affirmation, things that I need, things that are gonna make me feel wanted and loved as a husband, and vice versa. That's going above and be okay, right? There are people that don't even meet your standard, but because they check two boxes off of your checklist, now you're willing to compromise. People talk about compromising as a form of looks and stuff, like we talked about a couple videos ago. But people fall to the wayside when they don't look at the bare minimum of, man, is he a good person?
Right.
Because sometimes you'll be okay with, oh, I mean, no, that's just how he is. And like you see little stuff that you've seen him do, or you've
Flags.
seen little things that you've seen her do over
Flags.
the years, over time, or however many months y'all been dating or whatever, whatever. And you just like, oh, he just, that's, and you think it's cute
Mm-mm.
now.
Flag. It's a flag.
And then you get more serious in the relationship because you just been blinded by, I guess, how good they look or whatever.
Flag.
The idea of this relationship and the
Yes.
potential.
And some people are infatuated with the idea of being with somebody, like so much to where they will put up with way more than they should because they want to be in the relationship. Like they just want a relationship so bad that they'll put up with something that they don't deserve.
Absolutely.
Like people are obsessed with being in a relationship and they'd rather be in one that is dysfunctional than be alone. And it's like you do that because you're not happy with yourself being alone by yourself. And what I don't like is the idea that being single and being alone is like a curse or like something's wrong with you because you're single. Like absolutely not. Like being single is not a bad thing.
Nope.
People make single season seem like, and I know we're married, so that, people be like, well, you're
Yeah,
married,
some
so
people get offended
you can
because we
say that
talk about
because you're
that.
married. I mean, well, look at it this way, sis. Like, when you get into a relationship, you're still a human being on your own. You have to be okay with yourself. Like, at the end of the day, whether he laying next to me or not, if I don't like myself, who I am as a person, if I'm not whole, it doesn't matter what he does. I'm not going to be satisfied. I'm not going to be happy.
Mhm.
There's always something else that I'm going to want. I'm always going to be chasing something that I don't have because I'm not whole. Like, a relationship is two people, two whole people coming together. It's not a half and a half and we make a whole. That's not how that everything is we doesn't mean I'm one half of a person and you're one half of a person and our halves make one person. Like, no, we're two people who are whole people, whole. Like, we know who we are, we know our purpose, we know, like, we like ourselves as an individual, and then we come together to become one meshed together mix of remix of a person.
I said this in my relation tips sermon 2 years ago. It is better for you to be single and whole than to be married or in a relationship and jacked up. Understanding who you are, all the things you said, knowing your purpose, knowing your destiny, having a goal, having plans, knowing things that you want to accomplish in, and I don't even like these terms that we keep using, single season.
Yeah.
In my single season while you're single.
Yeah.
Because anybody that's not married is single. Let's be clear. You have to be okay with being whole and single with Jesus as opposed to being in a relationship and it be toxic and jacked up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I even posted it, I believe I posted it on my Facebook. And so many singles were like, man, I wish I would have known this years ago before I got into some of these terrible relationships.
Yeah.
Some of
like
these toxic,
people
terrible relationships.
when you're in a state like that where you want to be in a relationship really bad, you'll never make the right decision with who you're going to be with. Like, you'll choose people based on your insecurities or based on the things you feel like you lack. You'll be looking for that in somebody else. And so then you're looking for someone to complete you when they can't. So now it's like you're waiting for somebody to fulfill something that they can't. And you'll be disappointed every time. So, it's like outsource you can't outsource God. And you can't outsource confidence, you can't outsource self-esteem, you can't outsource those things. Cam does not make me a better person because because he fills voids for me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not. There's not like
You're not filling voids.
there's not like
You can't
something
do
that
that. Humans can't fill voids.
like, oh, my dad didn't, and now like I'm your
You've
dad.
replaced that. No, people are not. I hate the idea because I feel like people say this sometimes and it's not true. People can't replace other people. Like, you can't replace something or someone in your life. Like, if you experience something, a person can't replace that. Like, I've had friendships that I'm no longer friends with that person, but I don't believe that other people came in and replaced that person. Like, I don't believe that that happens. Because everybody has their own imprint on your life. Everybody gives something different to your life. But at the same time, it's like experiences and trauma and whatever, like anything you've gone through, you can't erase that. You can't get rid of it. You can't, like, you have to deal with these things. You have to deal with the things that make you uncomfortable. Like, nobody can fix that for you. And that's why you can't fix a spouse. Like, you can't fix a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You can't fix them. They have to, like, make the decision to confront their issues and get and heal in those areas, because you can't force someone to do that and you can't be the one to fix it.
Absolutely.
That's as a fixer, because I'm a fixer. As a fixer, I mean, I haven't tried to fix you because you're not broken. But I've had relationships with broken people before. And me trying to fix them did not do anything positive because I can't. I physically can't.
Well, what happens is you wear your own self down.
Yeah.
You wear yourself down, and then they start the person or people that you're trying to fix. They're looking at you like
Why are you
they're
trying
trying to,
to?
and it's like you think you're better than me.
Right. That's exactly what it
So
looks
you
like.
think you're better than me. So you think that your own stuff don't stink.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fall into this trap of trying to reverse what you started and what you got yourself into. And now you've created even more damage to an already damaged situation and damaged person.
Yep.
And now, first, there was just one damaged person and another person trying to help. Now you walk away from the situation with two damaged people because not only is the other person hurt or offended, now you're hurt and offended too.
Yep.
Because you're thinking, man, all I wanted to do was help.
Yep.
But
Exactly. It's
as the
exactly
saying
how that
goes,
happened.
help ain't help if it ain't helping.
Help ain't helping. It ain't helping.
And
you can't.
hurting people hurt people, whether you believe you're hurt or not. If you haven't dealt with past traumas, issues, hurts, things that you've gone through, past experiences, detrimental things to your childhood, early childhood trauma, all of these things, if you have not dealt with them, when you go into another season without dealing with the past traumas, you bring those past traumas and past hurts with you wherever you go, and they
Mm-hmm.
weigh on you like baggage. They
Mm-hmm.
weigh on you like big garbage bags, and everywhere you go, people are looking at you, and you're wondering why they're looking at me like that. That's because we see this invisible bag of trash and garbage and weights that you're carrying around, not knowing that it's dragging you down. And then once you see a person freed, especially if you've been in church and you deal with deliverance and things of that sort, once you see a person truly freed and walking in freedom and walking in purpose and walking in the fullness of who God created and called them to be, it's like, man, you look like a totally different person. Yeah, because you're not walking around with these big bags of foolishness and hurt and trauma and pain and wickedness and jealousy and envy with you anymore. Now you're like, man, I'm comfortable with me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
cool with me. I'm cool with Cam. And so this is where we have to try to help people to get to a place of understanding and do it in a healthy way by encouraging people to seek counsel, to seek therapy, to
Yep.
seek deliverance, to man, why do you think like that? Challenge people's thinking, challenge people's ways of doing. Just because you've always done it like that doesn't mean that it should be done that way.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love about me and my friends and my brothers is like I can call somebody and be like, bro, man, like, yeah, I understand that you preaching, but like, why did you say this? Or like, what made you say that? Like, because that didn't really make sense to me. Or man, like, bro, you tripping. Like we said we was gonna do this and like you ain't hit me up or we haven't talked about it. And same thing with me, holding
Holding each other accountable.
accountability.
I do the same thing with my friends too, and they know they can do that with me. It's like, don't let me just be out here acting a fool. If you see that I'm going through something or you see that I'm struggling with something and I said something wrong or I do something wrong, you can correct me because we're friends.
It's not a
Like,
friendship if you can't call each other on the carpet for stuff.
yeah, of course not. Because accountability, it keeps us in a it keeps us in a safe space. Because then if you're lying to me or telling me that something isn't wrong when it is, um, you're essentially being a yes man. And then our relationship becomes kind of fake because it's like, you know that you should have said something, but you didn't. So it's like you have to be open and honest with with the people in your circles, and learn how to accept that without be taking things so personal. um because then we think that love is only when we agree, and that's not true. Like sometimes love, and I say this on Twitter, I've said it on Twitter multiple times, like sometimes love is me disagreeing with you and telling you that was wrong and holding you accountable for that. And I feel like we live in such a sensitive um generation of people who are like hypersensitive about everything, and it's like, my feelings, this is my truth, this is how I feel, this is how I see things. And it's like, okay, yes, but your truth is not always the truth. Your feelings
Mm.
are not facts, they're just feelings.
Feelings are not final.
And I'm still learning how to properly talk to people about feelings because I tend to be very cut and dry. And I'm just like, well, your feelings, like your feelings are valid and your feelings matter, but they are also not the end all be all.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, your feelings are valid, but that doesn't mean that they're healthy, and that doesn't mean that your feelings are always right. So you have to know how to feel something, but also the truth may not be what you feel. And you need to know how to differentiate the two. And that's one of the dangers in having toxic faith. It's like you can make your feelings faith. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
could be so emotional about
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
relationship with God and you're emotional about your faith that you don't focus on the truth that's in the word. You just go based on your feelings. And so you misinterpret things. You're hearing things that really God didn't say because it's feelings. It's coming from your feelings. It's not coming from the Holy Spirit. It's coming from your feelings.
I mean, even that just ministered to me. It's so important that we don't take our feelings as faith, because you can mess up a season of your life thinking that you're making a faith move when really
It
it's
was
an
just a feeling
emotional.
move. It was an
Yeah, it
emotional
was a
move.
feeling move.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've struggled with for the man, the
It's
latter
okay.
part of
We do it.
what, a year and a half.
We
It's
do it
like
all.
knowing that it's like I never want to be the person. I don't want anybody to look at me and be like, man, he said this was a faith move, and I'm looking at dude like, bruh, like, was it? You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen people make GoFundMe pages for like a vacation trip. Like God didn't talking about some God didn't tell you to do that, bro.
For a
Like
vacation?
stop, like, bro.
Yeah.
Put some respect on God's name.
Yeah.
I don't want to say something was God and it wasn't. It
Yeah.
was me.
It was me.
Let's be real. That was you.
That was you. Yeah.
That wasn't God. That was you. And so we have to be very, very careful not to make moves out of feelings and really make sure that it's God.
Yeah.
How do you make sure does it line up with the word? Has it been confirmed?
Has been confirmed.
By
That's
2 or 3
usually
witnesses.
that's usually
Yeah.
what's really gonna. I mean, obviously the word is gonna be the main thing. The
Yep.
word is always going to. It's never gonna lie to you. But at the same time, God uses people. We've
Yep.
said this before.
The vessel of people.
God uses people, and that's why it's so important. This is why we keep talking about this. Relationships. We keep talking about having healthy relationships. Why? Because God is going to confirm his word through other people that know him. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have relationships with people who have good relationships with God, who are smart, who are wise, who read the Bible, because then they can confirm things for you, or they can say, nah, sis, I think you just feeling that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's why it's important to be, this is why, I feel like a lot of people, I've had a number of people ask me this before, but it's like, why, like, can I just stay at home and not go to church? Like, why do I have to actually be in a physical church? Why can't I just stay home and watch church online? Or why can't I just read the word and learn how to understand it for myself? Well, because God uses people. So if you're not in a community of people who are getting the same word that you are, getting fed the same way that you are, if you're not in that community of people, then nobody can ever confirm anything for you. So then you just going based off of, what you read, but also your feelings too. Because nobody can actually like make it make sense. You know what I mean? Like there's no way for anybody to confirm. So then it's just based on how you feel.
Yeah.
It's that's to me, that's toxic faith when you don't allow people to well, not just that, but when you don't allow people to help you, and also when you feel like you gotta fix everything and you're not
We can't
using the
fix
word
each
to
other.
Yeah. And you're not checking yourself too.
We can't. The only person that you can fix is you.
Oh my. And you can't even do it by yourself.
Guess what? You can't even do that.
You can't even do that. Let me tell you.
You need help with you.
You know how people say men are trash? I'm gonna just lay it out there.
Come on. Talk about it.
Humans are trash. All of us are, okay? It ain't just men. Okay. We all trash. And we all need Jesus.
We do. That's just the
fact of the matter.
Wow. Blessings, you owe me a soda.
Blessings. It's fact of the matter. We're all trash. Because at the end of the day,
there are
it takes two to tango.
There are circumstances and situations that can cause both men and women to say, The other one is trash.
Yes.
Right. The most
Now that
the
is
one I
not
see
to.
the one I see the most on Twitter and social media is men are trash, men are trash, men are trash. Why? Because you have allowed the culture to influence your way of thinking, and you think rappers and celebrities are relationship goals as opposed to local people that you know. Like, what about your parents? And even if your parents aren't together, what about somebody? It's got to be somebody in your family
life
that's solid,
or somebody in your life, period,
that you like literally know, that you've seen, that you've grown up with. But we skip over the people that we know and we walk with all the time because we glamorize things that we don't have and things that we want.
And then you get upset
It's
when you
tough to
find out
say,
Saweetie and
yeah.
Quavo didn't work out because Saweetie,
Oh man, they was my
Quavo was beating on
relationship
Saweetie,
goals.
and we thought they were so cute. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that they're broken up and they didn't work out. Well, nobody can work out. Oh my God. Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, so I guess nobody is good enough because Beyonce is the finest person on the planet. So how could she get cheated on? It's like people base their standards on the most. Those people, you don't. First of all, you don't know them. You don't know them people. But just because they have talent and they're pretty, it does not mean that they make a good spouse, a good girlfriend, a good that don't mean that their relationship is just perfect because they cute. Like that is not any way to base, and that to me is why social media can be so dangerous, because people just be comparing themselves and looking at these people just because they look good and things look good on their screen. They think that means that their life is great, and that is not the case at all. At all. There's a TikTok. It's a weird example, but there's a TikTok of this girl. And by American beauty standards, she would be considered ugly. Okay, it's this woman. She ain't got no two front teeth. Her two front teeth are gone. She ain't got no hair. She said she's, she doesn't shave her underarms. She's by American beauty standards not cute at all. But she has a man. And I love her. And she was on her TikTok and she was like, exactly. And he was just chilling in the background. She was like, all y'all on here, y'all can talk about how ugly I am, blah, 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 and be confused that I got a man that loves me. But like, that's because y'all think that just because you cute, that means that you can get a man. Like she was going off. Our standards for relationships are so shallow. And it's like the fact that you can look at somebody like that and be like, she never gonna get a man is very telling.
It's somebody for everybody.
It's somebody for everybody. And just because you look a certain way or have a certain thing doesn't mean that you're desirable. And you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people,
I can't base my preferences and make that like the standard. Like we talked about. My preferences aren't the standard.
Man, I wish I could find that TikTok. I'm mad that I didn't save it.
It's not that just because you like something, that I mean, people are different. That's what makes us people. We're all nobody's.
She's
the
like,
same.
just because I don't have a weave and I don't have my two front teeth, but you out here got all that and you still can't keep a man. Like, don't be mad at me. She said what she said with her missing
She said it with her chest.
She said it with her missing teeth.
I'm finna tune up.
Because that's not what matters. And it's like we're so obsessed with how things look that we would just get, like I said, dragged through the mud. Because
for optics
we want
and the aesthetic.
We want to look happy. And I hate the idea of happy in general. Like, why are we chasing happiness? Can we just talk about this for a second? Why are you chasing happiness? What does happy mean? What does happy mean?
What does it mean to you?
What does it mean? What does it mean? When I did my Q&A the other day, somebody asked me, how do I stay happy? I'm like,
happy comes and go.
Happy is a feeling. Happy is not a destination. It's not.
Oh, but when I have
something you can
joy,
achieve. Happy is not a fruit of the spirit. Not a fruit of the spirit.
He said, if you have joy.
Happy is not a fruit of the spirit, bro.
Unspeakable joy.
Success is not a fruit of the spirit. Money is not a fruit of the spirit.
Wow. Oh, Lord.
That ain't no fruit.
That ain't no fruit.
Happy is not organic. It's GMO.
Oh, come on. Genetically modified.
It's chemical. Happy. Actually, facts. I'm a scientist. Sorry. Happiness is a chemical. So what happens is, sorry, happiness is a chemical. Happiness is a feeling that goes off in your brain. It's called serotonin. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? I gotta look it up.
You the one said you was a scientist.
Well, sometimes I know things that I didn't know that I know.
Can you take hood vision off your
No, I'm leaving hood vision on my screen. Thank you very much. Serotonin is the key hormone that stabilizes our mood, feelings of well-being, and happiness. I am smart.
Love
I am
and
smart for
happiness.
no freaking reason, bro.
You've been good to me.
Bro, when I tell you,
I've been good to
you,
you.
I know things. Don't ever doubt me, okay? Serotonin is the happiness hormone. This hormone impacts your entire body. It enables brain cells and other nervous systems to communicate to each other. Serotonin also helps with sleeping, eating, and digestion. I don't know where I was going with that, but listen, serotonin is a serotonin is a chemical. It's a chemical. It's not spiritual.
That sounds like
It's
somebody's
not.
first and last name. Serotonin?
Yes, can serotonin please come to the office? Your parents are here to pick you up early.
That's hilarious.
Sister Serotonin is gonna come say a word, a spoken word. Hi, my name is Serotonin.
We just really went there with that. That's great.
No, but I just want listen, the pursuit of happiness is a meaningless pursuit. I gotta put that somewhere.
Because I was just having this conversation with
my
guy Jan Hunter Jr. Shout out to Jan. He gave me a call.
Hey, tell Jan I want to hit him up. I got some ideas.
I'll talk to you after this. There's things that people look at us and be like, oh, Cam has a Tesla, Vicky got a Jeep, and they got nice things. Bro, there are some stuff that I would give up in a heartbeat to have the things that me and my wife really, really, really desire. You're looking at the stuff that we may have or whatever, or Chris Brown has 5 Lamborghinis, and Jay-Z and Steph Curry. I mean, whoever you insert, whoever you like and love, whatever. And you think that they're happy because they have those things. Mm-hmm. I love my car, but after a while, he's like, okay,
things aren't fulfilling. Things aren't fulfilling.
All of these shoes, we have this shoe wall that's in front of us. I mean,
them shoes don't matter. Man, them shoes don't matter.
As soon as something else come out, man, I'm super excited. And then after I wear them, it's like, okay.
It's a high. Happiness is a high. Happiness comes from buying things.
And you're always going to be chasing.
Buying things makes me happy. But as soon as I buy the thing and I get it, the happiness goes away. Why? Because it just released.
You just like the thrill of it.
And I'll say this too. Sex is like that too. And not to say that it's not fulfilling. I'm not talking about you. And I'm just talking about in general, like the feeling of it, right? It's like if there's no purpose behind it, if there's no purpose or if there's no meaning, you know what I'm saying? Like spiritual meaning behind it, then it's just a feeling. It comes and it goes. You're like, oh, yay. That's it. That's all you get. Nothing else happens after that. You go back to your quiet, normal life. Same thing with getting drunk. Same thing with smoking. When you come down,
you're trying to chase that first feeling.
You'll keep going back to trying to chase that feeling. But if, like I said, if there is some kind of purpose or meaning behind it, then it makes it's like, okay, this means something. Like, I'm happy in this moment, but it's more than just me being happy in this moment, because after this, I still have, like, because we're married and you love me, and I know you're going to be here after we are done having sex. I know you're going to be there when I wake up in the morning because you actually love me and care about me. There's a foundation for that sex when it happens, right? So it's like, it's because it's in a container, like it's in a container, right? So like, it's safe there. So like, even though it's just a feeling and the feeling happens and then it's over, afterwards, I don't feel empty after that feeling leaves because I still have the love,
because I'm still here,
the compassion,
because I made a lifelong commitment.
The commitment,
because I make a decision, and a choice every single day to love you for the rest of my life,
emotional vulnerability,
for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
The emotional vulnerability.
I made a covenant.
The connection that we have, the laughter, the memories, all of those things is behind that feeling, the climax, if you will, the climax. There's a whole lot behind that. There's history You know what I mean? There's something there that is behind that to reinforce what I felt. So it's not just like, oh, that makes me happy. It's like, oh, well, because of all of the history and the, substance behind it, it means something.
This is going to be super random, but you saying that made me think about like contracts and agreements. Contracts, agreements, covenants. Do you know how mature you have to be to decide to get married?
Yeah, it's a very mature decision.
I think it's probably one of the most mature decisions you'll ever make in your life.
I feel like it's mature when you make the decision for the right reasons.
That's what I'm saying. Like every day, whether I do this subconsciously or not, I literally make a decision to love you
Mm-hmm.
with my actions, with how I treat you, with how I talk to you, with how I communicate with you, care for you, care for myself, take care of myself.
But do you feel like that decision, even though it is a decision, that decision can be harder or easier based on me or based
You play a
on
part, but
based on
that's why I said
what you know about me?
that's why I said being married is such a mature decision because I made that decision on February 14th, 2014, in the year of our Lord, in front of our family and friends. This is why you have people that are there in front of you.
Witnesses.
Witnesses. Come on, somebody. My God,
That's
I
what
feel
it
my
says.
help.
Witnesses.
In the presence of witnesses and God. He's omnipresent, so he's everywhere.
He's omnipresent.
Omni.
Omni.
I made a decision then. I made a covenant with you, with God, and with our witnesses that I was going to love you in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, till death do us part.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal.
Huge. It's a big deal. Because essentially you're saying, I am now responsible for this person and vice versa. At that point, it just hit you.
Like it just hit me again. Like on that day,
it hit you then.
Stuff was moving so fast, but like
because I feel like when you get married, like the wedding day, you don't feel it on the wedding day. You don't feel.
Everybody's different.
I didn't.
You did. Everybody's different.
You felt it. You felt something.
Absolutely.
What'd you feel?
I felt the weight.
Wow. You never told me this.
I felt the weight. Before we got engaged, and I felt the weight.
Okay, but because you were about to propose, like you're gonna feel
that's
the
a
weight.
Big deal.
I know, but I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just saying because you're the one proposing. So like when you're about to propose, you're gonna be like really nervous because you're making a huge decision.
I made a big money deposit to get your ring.
And but I felt that too. Now I'm just talking about just the wedding day in general. I did not feel it on the wedding day.
I felt stuff on there. I'm just cool, calm, and collected. So
but you are a feeler though. You are emotionally in tune. So it doesn't take you 6 weeks to process emotions like I do.
No, I'm very much in the moment.
But I will tell you this: the moment when we were dating, remember when we were dating, and there was a moment where when you said you were going to propose, but you didn't, and I found out. when we didn't break up or anything, it's just that moment was a very sobering moment for both of us. I feel like. Because we had been dating for like 2 years, and then you were gonna propose and you didn't. And when I found out about that, I was worried because I'm like, oh shoot, like this is a real thing. Like he wants to marry me. I knew that, but knowing that you were actually going to propose and you didn't was like, okay, this is real to me now. And it became like a very, because it feels like we were kind of floating. You know what I mean? Like up until that point, it felt like everything was like, oh my God, yes, like we're together, we love each other, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, oh wow, like he's really nervous about this.
That's how you felt.
What?
I don't know how you felt. You said you know what I mean. I don't know.
I mean, I was floating.
Yeah, that's how you feel.
It didn't feel
Obviously,
real.
I didn't feel like that.
I mean, it felt real, but the getting married part didn't feel real until that moment. And it's like, oh shoot, like we really have to think about this. Are we really ready? Are you like ready to make this next step? It's not that we didn't want to get married. It's just
Yeah, I had already
it
thought
was
about all of that.
it didn't come up for me until I knew that you were gonna propose. And then that's when it hit me. And it was like, oh shoot, like what are we really doing here? Like are we really ready? You know? And that's when I really started thinking like, oh my God, this is a big decision. Like I could be getting married. Like he like us together, like married. Like this ain't playing. Like it's not dating. This is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it became a real moment to me at that point. It hit me then. It didn't hit me at the wedding. But it hit me then that this was a big commitment we were making. You know, we had a good talk after that. That kind of like was like, all right, you know, are we really ready to do this? Because it's a big decision. Everything was going to change after that.
Very mature.
We had to really have a very mature conversation about it. You know, taking all the feelings out of it. Like we know how we feel about each other already. We've been said that already.
23 and 22.
Yeah, it's like we knew we loved each other. We knew we wanted to be together. But like, okay, this is not how you feel. This is a choice.
Yep.
Are you ready to make this choice?
I'll never forget it. Man. Even in the dating stage, my dad was like, okay, you love her? I was like, yeah. It's like, how do you know? And like, you know, trying to explain something to somebody that's been alive for 30 years more than you have. It's like, okay. He's like, well, I just want to, next day I come in my room. He's like, yeah, I got you this book. It was called like The Difference Between Infatuation
People
and Love.
always want to know what this book
they
is.
Always do. I mean, somebody commented on my YouTube.
Please find it so that people will know.
I can't find it anywhere. I'm going to look again. And I'm gonna link it. That book, man, it changed my life. Because you have to really, and I asked this question to the people that talk to me about relationships. I'm like, okay, are you infatuated with this person? You like the idea?
Or are you infatuated really with the idea of being with someone?
Because
and putting that person in that?
Love is totally different. Infatuation, how you doing crazy stuff, how you know, climbing up walls, doing all that. But then as soon as it ain't cute no more,
you out. Yep.
So I know this whole podcast conversation just took a turn, but
I don't even know if we're on topic at this point.
No, but
we're not. It's fine.
It's all good.
There was no topic to begin with, to be honest.
So
we just talking.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna find that book. I'm gonna link it because I want you guys to be blessed.
I mean, but honestly, you could just look up the definitions of infatuation. Well, don't look up the definition of love because it's gonna give you a whole bunch of different things.
Especially in
the dictionary.
In this day and age.
Don't look it up in the dictionary. Look it up in the Bible.
The time and the culture and the generation and knowing what God has planned for your life, you can't just make any kind of decision. Yeah. Like you really got to go before God and make sure that you're doing stuff from real faith and not feeling. See how I brought it back together?
Real faith, not toxic faith.
God bless you guys. This podcast was brought to you by Cam and Vicky. We are our only sponsors.
We are our sponsors.
We are our only sponsors. So, hey, appreciate you guys for tuning in yet again. If you haven't, go watch the previous videos. But appreciate you guys. Share, comment, like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to be a part of the notification gang. We love and appreciate each and every one of you, even those of you that disagree or are of differing views and opinions. It's all good. We love you here. All right. And we wish nothing but God's best for you. So once again, some cool, exciting things coming up next week with the Love Hour with Kev and Melissa. It's super dope. More plugs, more life, more collaborations. God is he's doing stuff, y'all. He's out here. He's just showing off. And I don't mind.
Yeah. Y'all let us know what y'all want us to talk about next. That's all I got to say.
That's all she got to say. Love you. Peace.